What are the exact processes and systems that you need to have in place to be able to generate a massive amount of high intent leads for your insurance company or insurance broker? My name is Brandon. I own an agency called Grow My Insurance, where we help insurance companies by implementing an exact process-driven lead generation system through paid ads. And we do that by bespokely building out these systems directly for our clients. Generated hundreds of thousands of inbound insurance leads, thousands of which have been converted to policy sales. If you're new here, consider subscribing, watch some of the videos. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. You're going to really enjoy this video. So we're going to talk about the processes, the exact systems, effectively, what do you need to have in place for you to be able to generate inquiries using paid ads, either if that's Meta, Google ads for your insurance company, and what are the best processes for you to be able to use. So that being said, let's jump straight into this. So we're going to talk about the audience, the ad channels, the funnels that you need to have, the right creative strategy that you need to use, and we're going to talk about a very important step last, which if you miss this one completely, it doesn't matter how good any of these are, none of them will work. So that being said, first off, what is the most profitable audience for me? This is really important for you to understand. You need to ask yourself, okay, out of all the things that we're selling right now, and let's just say we're a general broker or if we're more specific in a certain niche, then happy days. But effectively, you need to ask yourself, what is most profitable for me? Which is the thing that makes the most money? What's the thing that has the best margins on it? And effectively, what is the fastest sales cycle? If you have a product that has just long, drawn-out sales cycles, 3 months, 6 months, and sometimes even longer for that, paid ads probably isn't the best option for you unless you're really happy just to sink a lot of money up front before those conversions start to come through. We like to work with clients and we always try and recommend pushing towards products that have around about a 30-day cash velocity cycle, meaning that you can run ads and return that cash back within 30 days, or at least sign that client within 30 days, expecting that payout, either if it's some sort of life insurance you're waiting for sort of payments from, however you've got things structured, but you really want to be having a policy cycle of around about 30 days up to about 45 days maximum. Any longer than that, it can still work. You just have to be happy fronting that money up front, knowing that it's going to come out on the back side of it. And to be honest, if you are new to running ads, most of the time you won't actually have the confidence to follow through. So most of the time you'll just switch your ads off before those sales are coming through. So we always recommend what's most profitable for you to run, what is more likely to have a higher margin once you've spent out on ads, and then what has the fastest conversion cycle. And that's really the core element you want to be thinking about on what should we actually be running ads for. The second thing or third thing to this is my team. What is my team most confident in selling? So for example, you might have something that returns quick, is profitable for you, but the team just have a lower conversion rate overall. Maybe they don't understand the product as well. Maybe they don't deal with it as much, so they don't have the confidence in it. Or this it's just a subpar product that maybe they don't usually opt for versus something else. Again, you need to have something that is confident on being sold, because if you just generate a load of leads and nothing actually converts, and that's going to be down to your sales team at the end of the day for that. Also, what has the most market demand? You want to have something that is actively being looked for, actively being searched for. There is a in-market demand for that thing that you're selling. There are a lot of new insurance products or new things that come to the market where maybe there isn't active demand for it. You don't need to try and reinvent the wheel. You don't need to try and find something that nobody else is doing. You need to be doing what and selling to people that are actively looking for something. So let's just say hypothetically it's a life insurance product, then people are actively going out looking for life insurance. So you need to be looking for something that has active market demand. There's a load of tools for that. You can do some Google search. Just a tip for you on that is just go on to Google, for example, and just start typing some stuff out, home insurance, life insurance, or it's more specific terms from that. If it's something you want to be a bit more niche in, just have a little look to see if, okay, are other people doing this? Are other ads being ran? A really good tip is definitely with Google is you can't actually run an ad for something that doesn't have large enough search volume. So if there is an ad for that thing that you're searching, then there's a high likelihood that it actually has the search demand for what it is that you're trying to push. So that's just a little hack that you can sort of implement there. Other thing is, what pain points can I solve? So if you have something that maybe you've got special terms on a policy, maybe you've got access to underwriters that not everyone does that can solve specific problems, then that's really an audience that you want to go after. So audience is really just a case of, is there market demand for it? I'll be confident in selling it. Is it likely to make money? And is there a reason for me to actually want to try and push this, or am I just trying to get rich quick, which obviously isn't the right thing? Is there an actual genuine problem that I can help these customers solve? Because it's going to make it so much easier for you to convert people if you do that. Audience demand. So is there active demand for what I'm selling? So this really just goes into, has the market got demand? So is there active demand? Are people buying this right now? If I'm not selling this, are there other people selling this? You don't, to be honest, if no one's selling it and it's just no one barely buying it and you're the only insurance broker or one of the very few that actually sell it, don't push that product. Push something that people are actively going out wanting to buy and needing to buy. Are people searching online for it? Are there other companies running ads for it? Are there Facebook? Is there Meta ads? Are you seeing ads for this type of thing? If you are, then you're in the right area. Demand, is the person targetable? So this is a really interesting one. So if there isn't a huge market demand, which there should be, but if, for example, it is quite a niche thing that you're trying to push, is that person even able to be targeted? So for example, are there ways to get in front of them on Meta ads? Are there keywords that are being searched on Google? Because if you've gone super niche on that targeting and it's very hard to even get in front of that person, there's no way of targeting them, then it doesn't matter how good your ads are. If the person can't see them, then they're not going to convert from them. So you need to be looking, okay, is this in a demographic that can be targeted on? And let's just say you're going after people who are motorbike enthusiasts and you're selling, I don't know, some form of like motorbike insurance. On Meta, the platform, Facebook, Instagram, there are specific ways and very easy ways to be able to target those type of individuals. And there's also a massive amount of search volume for that type of stuff on Google. So that's a really good market for you to go in. So some live examples to this would be sort of home insurance. So this would be the unoccupied home insurance market. So the home insurance market is profitable. It has quick cash velocity cycles, team are confident in selling it, has market demand, pain points I can solve. If I go more niche than that, then there is market demand for unoccupied home insurance. People are searching for it and it has a solution because I, for example, have access to a scheme that not many people do, for example. Okay. Or life insurance. So life insurance is very big, very broad. You don't want to go as broad as that, but we want to try and pick a niche and an audience within inside of that. So maybe we're going to go for new homeowners. So these are people who are actively just purchased a home or they've just moved or something like that. Again, these people are very easy to be targeted. You can target them across multiple platforms. People are searching for it, has online demand. It has quick cash velocity cycles because people are in market wanting it, and it's going to be profitable if you convert at a good rate. And van insurance. So again, van insurance, very high, broad market. An audience inside of that is going to be couriers, delivery drivers, Amazon Prime delivery drivers, people that are delivering parcels, etc., etc. These people are going to be very easy to target. They're going to have active search demand because they need it for their work. And the pain points can be you have something that you can be upsold to them, or something, you've just got a reason to why people would want to buy it from you. Again, quick tip on this is just go online, look at what other people are doing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just find some ads that have been running a long period of time. If you can find that and there's people actively running ads for it, then the chances are then you're going to be able to run ads for it as well. So second thing on this is the ad channel. What's the best one to use? Is it going to be Google ads? Is it going to be Meta ads? Really, when should you use what and how should you use which one? So there's a really good video on my channel, which is just mapping out when should you use Google, when should you use Meta. So we're not going to jump into that too deep, but Google ads is high intent search volume. So you really want to be using that if there is massive active demand. If you're super niche, to be honest, Google's probably not your best platform to go with, but if you've got high market demand and high search volume, Google's going to be really good for you on that. It's not a premium audience. So what I mean by that is a lot of high intent sort of commercial life insurance products where it's a premium audience. So you're just going to have really high cost per clicks. You can battle that if you weather the storm, but you just have to be okay, and you have to have bigger budgets to be able to do that. And you have to understand the game you're playing if you go ahead and do that. It's not that you can't, to be honest. It's really easy to play in these audiences, but you just need to know what the cycle of the ad account goes through over maybe a 14, 30-day to 60-day period. Google's really great if you've got a problem-aware audience, so people know what they want, they know that they need to buy it, and they're actively searching for it. So really, the first and third just go in hand. And then it has high market demand. So that, again, just it's a big audience, active search volume, active problem-aware type of individuals. Google's going to be really good for you on that. Meta Ads is perfect because, well, if you've got an easy target demographic, so maybe mums, dads, homeowners, nurses, doctors, this type of stuff, really easy market demand and just a demographic that can be targeted really well on Meta Ads. Meta Ads is going to be perfect for all stages of awareness, to be honest, of people who are unaware of the problem they have or aware and actively searching for it. Really good if you need to do some form of education on the product. So again, if you're trying to catch people earlier in the cycle, maybe it's something that hasn't got active renewal dates and people buy it because they want it versus that they need it, then it's really good to be able to educate on this platform as well. Selling something without massive search demand. So if you're trying to push something a little bit niche, or you're trying to frame yourself as a niche provider over just the general options, then Meta Ads is going to be perfect for that as well. And then audience, niche audience and products, really just going into that last point. If you're trying to go after a very specific type of individual, a very specific type of hobby, then it's really easy to be able to get in front of that and talk to that type of messages on Meta Ads. And as you can see here, over 56,000 spent over on Meta Ads for a client account here at £17 a lead, 182,000 across a Google campaign at £32 cost per lead. To be honest, this client is more than happy to spend and overspend just because of the commercial value on top of these policies that we're pushing. Really good tip here. And you might ask, well, which one do you use? What do you think is the best? I personally love both of them. If we use both together, and that's what we do in our agencies, we set up both of these channels for our client. We use both of them, just gives an all-round best result because each platform complements the flaws of whichever one, and if you put the two together, it's just really it's turbocharged results, and that's what we do for our clients, and we build out both of these platforms. The third thing here is going to be the funnel. What is the best funnel for me to use? How can I actually generate these people to come through to me at high intent? What should I be putting out there, and what should the process that I drive people through? Now, there is a video which I want you to click below after this video. It's the exact correct funnel for you to be using for high intent leads. It's a whole video specifically designed around that, so give that a watch, but we're going to just quickly discuss it here. So you've got three main funnels that you can use as an insurance company. Any of the other ones I just stay away from. So you've got a call funnel. So a call funnel is an ad to some form of landing page, to some form of data collection, or book a call, and then you actually have a conversation or a booked appointment or a conversation with someone. We always like to do, you generate the inquiry, and then the actual call center outbound or try and engage with that prospect, because ultimately the trust is built through that call. The other one is just a buy online funnel. So if you've got a sort of comparison, or you can buy online, then that's a traditional funnel where you just add to a page, to a quote online, to a purchase. And then if you're a big boy and a big dog, then you're going to go for the hybrid funnel. The hybrid funnel is where you have the online journey, and then you have the back end call extension, which is an active call center that are outbounding those valuable inquiries that come through to convert the ones that don't convert online. To be honest, this is like hyperscale. If you can crack this and you have a product that can be purchased online and you implement a third, like the call center inside, this is the one that just rips. But most people, to be honest, like most of you watching here, are just going to go for that call funnel. Here's what to stay away from. So stay away from free download or asset. Enter your information with something like that. Download this valuable guide about insurance. Nobody cares about insurance. Nobody wants to read your assets. Free downloads don't work. You might get a load of free downloads, but none of them will convert into policy sales, and if they do, it's never going to work out as a valuable sort of profitable metric. Competition entries, they can work in very specific instances, but it doesn't want to be your core funnel. It wants to be competition, very small period of time at a small budget, just to try and drum some sort of volume up. But as competition entries as the core identifying funnel, do not use it, does not work. And then direct appointment booking without a VSL. So if you're trying to just drive people to a landing page that has a book a call with the diary entry where you can pick a time in the day, and it hasn't got a video sales letter, so there's no video content on there about the product, the problems it solves, you, the business, that type of stuff, then this is not a funnel that you want to run. Direct appointment booking without VSLs don't work in the insurance space. So that being said, what is the right format? To be honest, we see most people just go from an ad to a landing page to a call. That's really your call funnel. What should your landing page look like? Super simple. You've got your logo up here. You can add a call to action, get a quote, or the company's telephone number, maybe some social proof, something like that. You want a very clear, bold headline, exactly what it is for. Life insurance for this individual, unoccupied home insurance, compare quotes, that type of stuff, compare home insurance, compare van insurance, whatever that might be. You want to have that clear headline presented at the top and above the fold. You want to add some sort of sub headlines, as much social proof and bullet points on here that just really build a lot of trust within the audience. And then you really want your call to action. Your call to action can be an embedded form. It can be a call to action over to the form itself, or it can be click here to get a quote online if it's going to be the buy online funnel that you're running. And then what we like to do here is really then just build it out. You want some sort of text about the products and bullet points, policy features and benefits that people would get, maybe a picture. Then you want some sort of offer inside of here. So whatever that offer might be, if it's something just to try and get people to move ahead with you guys, so maybe it's some form of like price offer or a price anchor, or it's a ability for you to compete competitively on renewal prices, whatever that might be, but just some form of like urgency and reason to why somebody should even use you in the first place. And again, what you want to just have here, some more bullet points and some images that fit the type of demographic that you're going after, and then maybe some FAQs and a little footer at the bottom. It hasn't got to be anything major. You can add more in. We actually build these landing pages out for our clients, and we go a bit more in depth from maybe an SEO perspective, but also just really dialing in why you should use the company, how the policy impacts your life. But as a core, keeping it simple, that's the type of format that you want to go for. Obviously, when we build these out for our clients, we do a massive amount of market research, and we can really build stuff out that is contextual. So the next point to this is going to be the creative angles. So creative angles are going to be the images, the pictures that you use maybe on social media, Facebook, Instagram ads. Now, these are the things that you do want to do, some things that you definitely do not want to do. So you do want to have bold headlines and text of the product. You want to have clear headlines of what this product is. Okay, so if it's a life insurance for people over 50, it's over 50's life insurance. If it's a HGV insurance product, it's HGV insurance. If it's life insurance for NHS staff, it's life insurance for NHS staff. It's very specific on the headline wants to be, this is exactly what this is. It doesn't want to be something. So for example, the headline, if it was HGV insurance, that headline wouldn't want to be your haulage covered. Something like that, it just isn't going to be strong enough. With insurance ads, they're very boring as such, as people don't really like insurance that much. It just wants to be bang, this is what you get, this is what we're offering to you. So it wants to be super clear. You want to use real images or emotional images as much as you can. So you want to bring that customer into that as much as possible. They need to know exactly, right, that's the headline, this is the picture. I can understand within a split second what this is. You want to use colors and images associated with that audience. So for example, if you're doing like a bikers campaign where there's sort of high-speed motorbikes and that type of demographic, you probably want to be a bit more gritty. It might want to be red, it might want to be greens, blacks, that type of thing. You want to stay away from it being sort of really light and calm. It wants to be a bit more of a hardcore feel. So you want to create that designed again for that specific audience. You want to include features and selling points, so little bullet points, product features, selling benefits, USPs of the business. And then you also want to, if it possible, include as much social proof as possible. You can add your logo in there if you want, but social proof is important, those reviews, if they are impressive enough to be able to list. So just a few examples of maybe some ones that we have created. Again, we create these creatives internal for our clients. So these are just some examples of some things that we would create. The things that you do definitely not want to do is go heavy on stock images. So what I mean by stock images are images that just look like corporate crap. Boring, doesn't really mean anything. There's no people in it, and it's just a boring type of image. You want to stay away from that. And you also want to stay away from insurance jargon text. You want to stay away from that sort of heavy insurance focused features and benefits. If you do have something, you need to be able to communicate it much easier. So for example of that, let's just say you compare 19 plus insurances and you have whole of market access. It might just be easier for you to say, compare multiple lenders, compare multiple insurers, or we have access to rates and prices that you might struggle to find elsewhere. That type of thing is going to be easier to communicate versus using words that maybe not everybody actually understands. And then what is the last point on this, because this is one of the most important things of paid traffic, and if you don't have this in place, it doesn't matter any of those things we've just spoke about, it won't work. And essentially that is the campaign tracking, and this is not just tracking from your metric, it's actually the back end tracking. Again, we actually set and implement all of this for our clients with bespoke tracking solutions that we have. But the tracking must have, or you must connect all of your platforms via Tag Manager. So think as Tag Manager as the central hub, and then all of your WordPress, your website, whether it's not WordPress, if it's your Google, it's your Facebook, it's your Meta platforms, it's your Pixel, it's everything is connected through Tag Manager as a central hub. That's the best way that we've been able to create it, and it's the one that's just easier to manage, and it's the one that you can really set some advanced parameters on, because in the UK as well, you can't do custom parameters for insurance products through the URL, but you can do that through Tag Manager. So it's excluded on the Meta platform for anything insurance related, but if you go through Tag Manager, that bypasses it. So you can do some really bespoke high level tracking. At the end of the day, the reason I've got a brain here is that these platforms are all algorithm based. They have a brain. Okay, their algorithms are based around your account brain, and you have to be able to feed that brain with the data. If you don't have and share that data with these platforms, they're not able to get better over time, enhance and increase the quality of your traffic. So that's ultimately why you just keep getting really bad leads come through. So you want to track the submissions and the leads that are being generated. You want to feed that back to the brain of the platform. You want to track low and high level conversion actions. So that might be the lead, the schedule, the book a call, or that might be the lead and the purchase. You want to track those low and high level conversion actions. You want to use native conversion action. And this is, I can't believe I'm sharing this with you because it's like super source, right? But you don't want to use custom conversion tracking. You want to use the native conversion tracking. So the lead, the schedule, this type of stuff that comes naturally on these platforms, because these standard lead events have millions of conversion data points from your account, but also just all the other accounts that are on these platforms. If you're using custom conversion events, you have just such a small sample size, so the brain of the platform doesn't really know, okay, well, who actually is this for? We can't use other data points from our millions of active users on our platform because we now have this custom event that we now need to try and figure out who this is for. So you always want to use native conversion events. You also want to, this is super important, track form data as conversion data. So for example, if somebody's entering in their name, their postcode, their date of birth, their mobile number, their email into your form, you want to actually extract that data in real time. So for example, the email, you want to extract that in real time and send that back to the brain of the platform. So this is able for the brain of the platform to match that to a user specifically on their database, and then find you more individuals who look like that individual, have those search habits, that have those interests, hobbies. This again is why it's super important for you to do the tracking. If you don't have this and you just run in ads and just hoping for the best, ultimately it's going to fail because you're competing against maybe the likes of our clients who are actively putting stuff like this into place. And effectively, as if you've got over 1,000 leads coming in, quality improvements, and this is only really once you get to the point where you're generating a higher volume. I don't think this is really important at the start because you want to give the brain as much information as possible. But as things develop and you really start to scale those leads up, maybe you're doing over 1,000 leads a month, to do the quality improvements is you want to restrict data and feedback only qualified lead submissions. So you can do this either through the conversion API, you can feed data back from directly to the CRM, or you can restrict it on the front end of the lead. So for example, let's just say you have a Google ad, that then is a person that comes to the website. They're then a qualified lead. Let's just say based on the submission data they put into your form, you deem them as to be higher qualification versus someone who's unqualified. If they are qualified, then what you want to do is you want to send that response back to Google and say, right, this person that just converted, they are qualified. And then the people that are not qualified, who would technically are still a lead, but they just don't fit the requirements, you want to hold back and restrict that data so it doesn't go back to Google. So then the data, the Google platform, Meta, any of these, the only thing that the brain is learning from is those super high intent qualified leads, and the ones that are coming through unqualified are effectively not going through to that brain. Again, I don't think it's really important that you do that up until the point as you scale. Some people might argue slightly different, but based on what we do currently for our clients and what we're seeing, we've tested this a number of times, is this only really works once you actually build up the volume of leads coming through and you have enough to play with. So to recap on all of that, skills and all actions that you need to take to be able to make high intent lead generation come through correctly for your insurance company or insurance broker is first is you need to segment your product into profitable clients. So you need to try and figure out exactly, right, who is the best client for us to reach and how can we best convert them and what are we most confident in selling. You need to pick a platform to target them, ideally both, so Meta, Facebook, Instagram and Google. You need to know technical knowledge on the right structure and campaign setup in the first place. How do you actually structure these campaigns so they get delivery and get in front of the right people? You need technical understanding of tracking setups across website tracking, conversion tracking, and CRM automation. You do need to know a bit about copywriting to get people to actually create action on your ads. How do you, from a copywriting perspective, present an ad to someone that's more likely to be clicked versus just scrolled right past. You need to have a good understanding of image design and creative design skills. You need to know how to structure landing page and landing page design knowledge, and just how to set up a landing page in the right hierarchy, and again, copyright that to elicit a response from someone. And then you do also need to know form design and form creation. How do you build a form that's more likely to have a higher completion rate versus a drop off or people entering fake information? That type of stuff is really important. If there's any other types of, or any of this that you'd like me to discuss further, leave a comment below. Hope you found some value from that. If you are an insurance company, insurance broker, you'd like us to build this out for you, there's going to be the link in the description. You can visit me, growmyinsurance.com, or you can visit me and message me over on LinkedIn as well. I'm just quite easy to find. That being said, hope you found some value. Like, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff, and looking to speak to you in the next video.